Good morning. Today is Tuesday, November 9th, and I just got out of the gym. So I know that I promised that I would post every week, and I haven't, and I am so sorry. I actually started making a video. Well, I actually finished a video. It was like 12 something minutes, maybe 14, and I re-listened to it before I posted it, and I found a very, very big flaw. Like, I touched on a subject and then I didn't continue with it, and it made me feel like I wasn't truthful about somebody. I was intending to finish the story and be truthful about it. So essentially I'll touch base on that right now, actually. A few weeks back now, probably about 3 weeks back-ish, maybe 4 now, something. It's been close to a month. I went ahead and bit the bullet, and I got an account / downloaded the app for MyFitnessPal, and I started counting calories again. I have been fighting doing this for over a year. I've known, probably over a year. I've known that it's the thing that I need to do for a long time, and I have simply just made a lot of excuses about not doing it. But really, the biggest excuse that I've made was really not an excuse at all. It was the honest truth. I did not want to count calories. I hate counting calories because it's a pain in the ass, and the way that I was doing it before was all on paper. I may have actually made a video about it, I'm not sure, or a video showing that I had. But I would write down whatever foods I ate, how many calories they were, and add them up manually and all this other. So my friend Carlene, and this is where I messed up in that video, my friend Carlene, who also has her own YouTube channel, CKB Moves More, she had been using MyFitnessPal, and she recommended it to me. And what I was getting at with the video was basically that I said that she used to use it, which is true. She used to use it. And then she stopped using it for a little while, but then she started using it again after I started using it, and I thanked her for the recommendation. And so it's really cool to have a friend that encouraged me to use it, and then by actually picking it up, I helped to encourage her to use it as well. So I'm super pumped about that. And that's the way I wanted to finish it. I started in the video, and you know how my thoughts get derailed. I started the video at one point or another in the video saying that she used to use it, and then I never came back to the fact that she started using it again. So that's where I went wrong, and I know it's kind of rambling a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that I spoke truth, because I didn't want it to sound like, well, she used to use it, she doesn't use it anymore, but that's totally not the case. So anyway, really super pumped, because the other day I saw that she had logged 20 days in a row. I'm not really sure where I'm at, but I've logged, I feel like I've logged just about every day. I feel like there was at least one day that I didn't log anything, but it says that I've been doing a streak for a while, so I'm not really sure how that happened, because I'm almost sure that first week I took a treat day and I didn't log anything on my treat day, and they're saying that, I've logged so many days in a row, and I'm like, okay, so if you say so. But anyway, so I've been going strong about logging my food. I had a couple days last week where I ate the world, and I did not log all of that. I know I didn't log all of it. I logged the majority of it. My hair's crazy. Wow. I logged the majority of it, but I didn't log all of it. So anyway, and so the first 2 weeks using the MyFitnessPal app, and trying to stay under those calories, I worked off, in the first week I worked off 6 pounds. In the second week, I worked off another 6 pounds. The third week I gained a pound, and then the fourth week, which is, yes, so this would be 4 weeks. Wow. As of today, I gained another, just under 2 pounds, maybe 3. And part of that's probably because last week I ate the world. So for 2 days, and then I've I don't know, mathematically, I think I either should have maintained or should have lost a teeny tiny bit mathematically, but that's not always how it works. But anyway, regardless, it's really been helping me keep track of my food intake and encouraged me to eat better foods. So as I talk to you, I'm going to go inside. I just finished working out. It is currently 8 o'clock on the dot. I have to get ready for work. I have to be at work at 8:30. While I'm all up in the space here, I got glasses. That's a new thing. I am nearsighted, and I went and got my eyes checked for the very first time as an adult. And I don't have insurance, so it was expensive, but at the same time, it was worth it because I was getting to the point where, long story short, I was kind of borrowing. My sister gave me this old pair of glasses that our friend Mike gave to her, that ended up working out pretty well. And I have been using those to drive because it makes me see a lot more clearly. It's kind of blurry when I drive. It's not like so blurry that I can't see it all. It's just that it makes it harder to read signs from further away. So while my vision isn't horrible, it's definitely not great. It was time. So that's something new. Skipping all those details because I kind of would like to keep this under 10 minutes. Again, I had worked off 12 pounds, gained back about, just under 4 of those pounds now that I think about it, because I got down to 239.4, gained back some of those pounds, and as of today, I'm at 243.2. So I am still, I'm still down since I started with MyFitnessPal, and since I decided to refocus my efforts. From that point, I'm down about 9 pounds. From the MyFitnessPal app, I'm down about 8.5 pounds. So that's cool. And I think I said in a previous video that my goal essentially is to work off 30 pounds for the remainder of the year, essentially starting in October. So 10 pounds per month. 10 pounds in October, 10 pounds in November, 10 pounds in December. And I know that it's like kind of a horrible time, in the words of my boyfriend, kind of a horrible time to do it because my nose is always itchy. It's really not always itchy. I just feel I'm like hyper conscious about it when I'm recording. So no, it's not always itchy, but I always end up scratching my nose while I'm recording, and then I'm like, blah. And then I watch it later and I'm like, if I didn't say anything, I don't think anybody would have noticed, but I know. Anyway, so I wonder sometimes if it's food service. I was in food service for so long. I was in food service for about 15 years altogether. And like hyper aware of where my hands have been, especially if they're on my person, especially if like I go to scratch my nose or my face. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, where was I? This is what happens. My thought process just totally gets derailed. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about in that video that I wanted to post originally were that I'm trying to use different methods to kind of keep me on track. And one of the things that I did and I wanted to talk about was that I have readjusted my calendar. I don't know if it's going to be backwards whenever I post the video or not, but regardless, in fact, actually, yeah, let's turn the camera. I don't know that I can. And that's, maybe, nope, that's not it. That's taking a picture. Okay, so Melissa's technologically not so savvy. So anyway, so I love puns. I know I spoke about this towards the beginning of the year, whatever. I talked about getting my calendar. But anyway, it's November. It says Squatch It. And one of the things that I've done basically is to write down what chores I would like to accomplish on each day. And I thought if I can just do up to 2 chores a day, then it would be way more manageable and it wouldn't be so overwhelming. I'm maritally single, so I'm not married. My sister and I live together, so it's not like, we have to pick up after each other, but not, there's not a whole family to pick up. I don't have any kids, so it's not so bad. So this, essentially shouldn't be too overwhelming. It's just that I'm so busy sometimes that I don't get to both. But anyway, worked really well in October. And I did quite a bit. I checked them off as I went, but the last 2 weeks of October, that's when I started. I started at the end of the first full week of October. And the last week and a half, mostly the last week, I did really poorly. I don't think I did anything because I was so busy. But my sister and I hustled this last weekend and we got the chores caught up. We'll put it that way. They're caught up. So now it's not overwhelming anymore. But anyway, yeah, so I'm using that system now. I decided to do that. So if any of you struggle with trying to get things done, maybe take a wall calendar and write down like one or two chores each day to try to accomplish. And as long as you keep up on it, it's a lot easier. So like I started with dishes this day, and then I went to laundry and litter box, and then dishes and floors, and then litter box, and then dishes and bathroom. And so I essentially had laundry about twice a week, bathroom once a week, floors once a week. And while I was not perfect, it helped me keep up on everything to the point where it wasn't overwhelming. So that was cool. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I'm back at the gym. I'm reading. I love reading. I'm still having some issues with my body since the car accident, and it's been kind of crazy. So this year's been kind of nuts for me. I've had a very, very busy, somewhat chaotic year. I got attacked by dogs back in March. I was in a car accident in September. My boyfriend and I found each other, and I think he's the one, which is really amazing. I ran for St. Jude back in July. I've had a very busy year full of stress. I've kept, and I can't say I've kept, but since I've been back at school, every semester that I've had has been a 4.0 semester, which is super cool. So, like I've worked really hard and I feel good about the hard work that I've done. And I feel pretty good about the resilience that I've had. So, and I've had a lot of support too. So everybody who has helped me out, anybody who's watching this video, thank you so much. Even just a kind word and a word of encouragement has been extremely helpful. So thank you for that. So that being said, there's probably more that I wanted to talk about in this video, but I really wanted to get out that I'm really focusing hard on my goals. One of the things that I'm struggling with still is getting enough sleep, because since my boyfriend and I have been together, we talk every night before I go to bed, before we go to bed. And oftentimes we have the intention of cutting off our conversation, like cutting off our conversation earlier, and then we end up talking way later than we should. And it's beautiful that we're able to do this like almost every single day, because it means that we're not losing interest in each other, or we're not bored with each other, or we don't I don't know. It's a really wonderful thing, but at the same time it's horrible because it's like we need to cut the conversation off. That way we actually go to bed and sleep, because we need to sleep. Because when I don't get to bed and get to sleep and get enough sleep, then it makes it that much harder to wake up in the morning, get up and go work out. And that's been my struggle. Like the trade-off, unfortunately, it has been talking to my boyfriend more, talking with him more, and then not being able to sleep, and then not being able to get that rest and then feel rested enough to where I can fight those feelings of wanting to stay in the bed, because I always want to stay in bed. Like every day that I wake up, I want to stay in bed, but it's easier for me to get up when I feel well rested. So cool thing, last night, I actually ordered a book. See, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, some books that I'm reading. I ordered a book, like a week or so ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Finally joined the 21st Century, got an Amazon account, so I've got that, so that's fun. And I ordered like 2 Christmas presents for my boss, which I'm really excited to give her. And it's really hard for me, I don't know about any of you guys, but it's really hard for me to get Christmas gifts early, because I really want to give them away like as soon as I get them. I just want to give them away, so it's really hard to wait till Christmas. But anyway, I ordered a book called I can't remember what it's called. It's about sleep, because I watched this video on I think it's by Tom Bilyeu. He's the content dude for this YouTube channel, called, I think his channel's called Impact Theory. And I've watched a couple of talks. Actually, that's where I learned about David Goggins. Like, I'd heard some of his stuff through the motivational videos that I watch, but I really got to see this really cool interview with him on impact theory, and I watched the whole thing, and it was like, that was how I got his book, Can't Hurt Me, and it was really inspiring. There's some elements missing from the book that I think were very on purpose, because the focus wasn't those things, but at the same time, it took away some of the connection between the reader and the author. But regardless, that's how I learned about him. So there was this other guy on Impact Theory talking with Tom Bilyeu, and hopefully I'm saying his name right. And he was talking about sleep and other things related to that in like the health field, and having like a degenerative back disease or disorder or something like that, and how he beat that through wellness, basically. And I mean, I'm so paraphrasing and summing things up because there was a lot more to it than that. But anyway, I'm in my room. Just thought I'd share this book with you. Okay, so it's called Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson, and I'm really excited to start the book. Ow, I just whacked myself in the face. And super pumped about starting this book. However, I'm in the middle of like 3 or 4 other books, so I'm waiting until I cut that down. I'm in the middle of this one, Finding Peace When Your Heart Is in Pieces. I put this one down several months ago, and it was back when essentially I was grieving 2 relationships. We'll call it that. That's the easiest way to say it. Because there was a guy that I had very, very strong feelings for. I was in love with him, and he didn't feel the same way, and that's really hard. And then there was another guy who I had been in love with at one point, but it really wasn't there. And when I discovered that, he just wasn't the right one for me, when he was a really good guy at the time, it crushed me that, I finally found a really good, nice, genuinely sweet person, a really good person, and he just wasn't right for me. And then I felt like, well, maybe I'm not meant to have that. So anyway, I started reading, like, I was crushed, and I summed that up, but I was so crushed about these 2 letdowns. They were big, big letdowns, that I was grieving both of those relationships. And that's the easiest way to put it. So anyway, I got this book because I was looking up something motivational and something that would encourage me to not give up. And I found a quote out of the book. So I'm like, I'm going to order the book and see if I like it. Anyway, so I haven't read it in several months, just because there was one of the things that the author said in the book rubbed me the wrong way. And not from like, God, okay, we're not going to get into that. I'm wanted a 10-minute video to be 10 minutes, and now we're coming up on 20 because I can talk. So anyway, there's that one. We'll just put it that way. So if I ever do get back into it, I'm in the middle of that one. I'm in the middle of a book, which I have to actually start reading from the beginning again, because it's one of those, it's pretty cool because it incorporates science. It's called Why Diets Fail Because You're Addicted to Sugar. And it's really interesting. I got about halfway through that book before I put it down, because I'm one of those people who like to start books. And even as fascinating as they are, my problem now is that I start them and then I get so preoccupied with school and everything else going on in my life that I don't get back to them. And then I get really excited about other books. It's like, I want to get back to that one, but then I get really excited about another book, so I'll start it. So there's that one. And I will reread that. That one's not one that I'm not sure about. The Finding Peace When Your Heart Is in Pieces, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually continue to read that. But anyway, regardless, there's that one. There's also The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've been in the middle of that book I started that book sometime last year. And to be completely honest, depending on what your reading level and your attention span can be, this book is a hard one in the beginning, I feel. So, but once you get like about halfway through it, it hits a point and it just takes off from there. It's a really great book. My problem with that one particularly is mostly that I have school. And so like, I get so preoccupied with doing school stuff that I actually don't have time to really focus on reading that one. So, we're looking at 20 now. Go figure. Then I'm also, but I'm really close to finishing that one. And I think honestly, there's a part of me that doesn't want to finish it because of how good it is. But at the same time, that one I'm actually planning on rereading altogether, because now that I've gotten to a point where there's some terms and stuff that I had to look up and try to really wrap my brain around and get them like really sunk in there. Now that I've gotten so far, I kind of can't wait to restart it, because it's one of those books that, like, once you get it, it's exciting and you want to reread it, so that the parts that you had trouble, you kind of struggled through understanding in the beginning, because for me, at least, it's vocabulary and stuff like that, and concepts. Once you've gotten past those concepts and then that book picks up, you're like, oh, I can't wait to reread this and get it better than I did before, to understand it better than I did before. So that one I'm really close to being done with, but not quite there yet. And I actually plan on rereading that one completely. And I am in the middle of a book for book club called Girl Wash Your Face, and it's by Rachel Hollis. So far, it's pretty good, and it's really interesting. So, short version again, my workplace, the daycare that I work at, we essentially have committees, and we have a couple other things, and we're I think that the focus is trying to help build relationships and build a really good, strong work environment, like a positive work environment. So my assistant director started a book club with, and we have about, I think, total of 6 people in book club. So I'm really pumped about that. And for our first book, we're reading this one. So I just finished the chapters. No, not quite. I'm in the last chapter that's due next week now. And it's really good. It's one of those two that you kind of pick up and you want to just keep reading, because it's written in semi-story form. So she's got like concepts through it that she wants to talk about, because it is a little bit more, it's part autobiography, part personal growth and development. And that's kind of like David Goggins in his book. Totally different style of writing and totally different storylines, different lives, because we're talking about a guy that, with David Goggins, we talked about a guy who was a pest control technician that ended up getting into and completing Navy SEAL training, and just really hard dude, really cool. And then with Rachel Hollis, she apparently was from, I think, a southern town, southern-ish town, I don't know, southern style town, whatever, however she described it, moved to LA and became a party planner. So totally different, totally different life, of course. But anyway, same essential concept of taking like concepts and mixing in their own autobiography with it. So, but it's pretty good right now. So I'm in the middle of that one. So those are, I think, the books that I'm in the middle of right now. I just finished reading, and see, again, like I said, usually it's one of the problems too, is that I'll put that down for a little while, and then I'll find another book that I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to read this book. And then I'll start it. And so, and this one's a funny one, and I'll hopefully save this for another video, because there's a lot more talking about that I'd like to get into. But I started a few weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago, and finished maybe 2 weeks ago. God, it didn't take me that long to read this one. I started the Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, stuttering a little bit, and it's really good. And like I said, I'm hoping to revisit that in another video and actually have more time to talk about it. So excellent book. There are some things in it that refer to one of his previous books. I think it's called Financial Peace University. And I'm considering getting that one, because it's really interesting to hear about those concepts from that book. However, I read this one, and I want to implement some of the things that are going on with that. That was my coffee maker. It's been 2 hours since I turned it on. So anyway, it is 8:17. I've been rambling on for 24 minutes. Happy Tuesday. Be your best self. Live your best life. Make wonderful, wonderful choices today. Drink lots of water. Get to move in a little bit. I don't know, whatever. All that jazz. Awkward ending. Have a great day. Talk to you later.